Hello everyone. If you're looking for a profitable trading strategy, you've come to the right place. In this video, we'll look at 3 simple trading strategies that deliver consistent, okay results. We conducted an analysis and selected 3 successful traders who shared their trading strategies and gave a masterclass. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. If you haven't registered on Pocket Option yet, follow the link in the description and sign up.
Click on Indicators and select 2 indicators here, an oscillator indicator and also the moving average indicator. But for the moving average, click it twice, meaning we select 2 moving averages. After that, we start configuring the first moving average. You can either pause the video or go to my Telegram channel. I've already posted all the settings for these indicators there. That's it. Let's configure these moving averages. Now let's move on to the oscillator settings.
Here I set the view to standard.
Click Save. Also, an important part is the chart type, candlesticks, a 30-second interval, and a 1-minute trade duration. The currency pair is EURJPY. We open our trade for 1 minute downwards with an amount of $100. Now let me break down this situation and show you exactly why we opened a downward position here. The first thing we pay attention to is our moving averages, which are crossing each other from top to bottom. That's why we opened a downward trade. This gives us only the first signal for a downward move. And overall, we also see a general downward movement. We can also see our chart, which is currently red. This gives us a second signal for a downward move. That's why if we open the trade right here, we see a good movement here, which is why we enter a downward position. Now, all that's left is to wait. We can already see 2 good red candles. There you go. And we just watch our trade. I've added a few currency pairs where I already see some decent movement overall. But as soon as the price moves in such a way that the indicator gives us a signal, that's when we'll open our trade. In the meantime, by the way, our first trade is confidently closing in profit. Our balance is already $192. But in the meantime, we'll change the amount of our trade to $192 and look for the next opportunity. Currency pair CAD-CHF OTC. We open our trade for a decrease for 1 minute. And once again, I'll explain to you how this strategy works and why we opened a down trade here. We pay attention to our moving averages and see a crossover from top to bottom. We also see a good downward movement that is just beginning to form, and that's exactly why we're opening a down trade here. Of course, in addition, we pay attention to our chart, which has been red for quite a while. Now, that's why we opened the trade. We can already see a good movement, and we're just waiting for our trade to finish. So, our trade is coming to an end. As you can see, the strategy really delivers good results if you find the right entry points. Our second trade confidently closes in profit. Our balance is now $369. We increased the amount of our trade to $369. And now we're looking for the next opportunity. Currency pair CAD-CHF OTC. Here we open a 1-minute down trade. Here. Well, right now, as we can see, there's this kind of impulse that's not exactly pleasant. We hope the trade will close in profit. Nevertheless, let's do an analysis. And I'll show you why I opened a down trade here. We see our moving averages crossing, which gives us a signal to go down. We see our downward movement, and we see our good red diagram. That's why we opened a down trade here. As we can see, it's not even a green candle, just a shadow. So probably there's nothing to be afraid of here. We just wait for our trade to finish. So as we can see, our trade is coming to an end. The result is successful. You can count for yourself how many wins in a row that is. Meanwhile, our balance is $708. So we increased the amount of our trade also to $708 and look for the next opportunity. Currency pair USDJPY OTC. We open our trade upward for 1 minute with $708. The situation might be a bit risky, but let's analyze why we opened an up trade here. Let's select the time interval specifically from right here. And what do we see? We see a reversal on our chart, and now the price is moving in an upward trend. We see our moving average crossing from below to above, and we see our indicator, which is just starting to form, just like our upward movement. That's why we opened an up trade. We already see a good movement, and now we just watch. Our trade closes confidently in profit, so we record another win in a row. You can see the balance for yourself. Let me even refresh the page right now. The balance is $1,360. This whole situation has played out. We can see for ourselves what kind of movement there is now. We simply close this pair and look for the next opportunity. Currency pair CHFX GPI OTC. We probably won't be able to do it for 1,360. Yeah, we can't open a trade for that amount, so we'll open one for 1,000. Right now, and immediately, by 360. All right. That's it. We've opened our trades at about the same point. These 2 trades right here. The total amount is 1,360. We see a crossover. We see our upward movement, and we see our nice green chart. In my opinion, this is just a clean, good entry, which you also need to look for when opening your odd trades. Now we wait for the outcome. Let's see how this turns out. So both of our trades close confidently in the profit, the first and then the second, both confidently in the profit as well. Just pure pleasure. The balance is $2,600.
If you like the result, give it a like. Now let's move on to the second trader, who turned just $10 into $1,605. So, let's watch.
The time frame on the platform is 30 seconds. I'm turning on the timer to see when the candle closes, and a new one opens.
And in the indicator section, I turn on the sharp trend cycle indicator. In this indicator, you need to change the fast, slow duration and other parameters. So just watch and remember. Let's set it to 2, 35, and here we'll change it to 6. Leave it at 3, and change this one to 1. Next, we move on to the style settings. I'll change the color and thickness so that everything is easier to see. I recommend you do the same because visually you'll be able to spot good signals more easily and earn more. So let's set the first color to turquoise. Next, 2 pinks, and we'll change some values to 65 and 35. So friends, the platform is set up and I'm ready to work. Let's take a look at the list of currency pairs to find one that fits our strategy. EuroCAD. We can see that there's been an upward movement for quite a while here, and this is also reflected in the indicator below. I also want to mention that with this strategy we enter at the close of the candle, at the opening of a new one. Our expiration time will be exactly 2 minutes, so don't forget to set that. I'll be entering with $10. I accidentally clicked a different amount, I need to set it correctly. Here, we set the maximum balance. Let's see how much it's possible to earn using this strategy. I'm going all in, entering a down trade. And let's see what happens. So let's highlight the area so I can explain where you need to look and what to focus on. First of all, we look at how long the trend has been going in one direction or another. In other words, how many green or red candles we have, to put it simply. We also pay attention to the indicator, which can most accurately show a trend change or reversal. I closely watch this line, which regularly jumps up and down. A few seconds ago there was a new spike and the line started moving down. This is very clearly visible on the indicator. The essence of this strategy is to wait for an impulse from the indicator, then wait for a new candle and open a trade in the same direction. It really does look very simple and silly. Do you feel like you can just start trading right away and make $1,000 right now? But I advise you to watch this video until the end. Because in order to earn consistently, you need to understand one very secret and important point that will make your trading a bit more profitable. I'm not joking. That's why I decided to record this kind of video, where I'll try to grow my deposit from just $10 using this strategy, and based on the results sent to me by a subscriber, check how realistic this actually is. Let's take a look at the history to see how it looked. Let's mark this area here. We can see that there was a downtrend here. And if we take into account that we enter at the close of the candle, plus when the indicator rises a little, we enter right away. Then here we could have made a decent profit. I also want to mention that you need to take into account with this indicator, at least that's my opinion, and I've tested it several times, that it's best to combine it with other strategies. In particular, I use technical analysis. By the way, friends, we got a nice, clean profit from this trade, and our balance is now $14.59. I'm showing you another example right now. The candle started to fall after a prolonged rise. The timer runs out and a new candle appears. This means the indicator has been updated. And yes, my friends, the candle dropped sharply, so you need to open a trade strictly at the close of the candle. I'm following the strategy precisely. Let's analyze this example with AutoSD together. We can see that the movement potential is directed upwards. In other words, the price had been moving up for a long time. This is visible both on the chart and in the lower indicator. And as you may have noticed, with the opening of the new candle, there is a sharp drop on the indicator, which signals a trend reversal. And the price is moving successfully in our direction. Also, friends, I want to remind you that we are trading on a 30-second Uzors chart, so be sure to keep these settings. Right now, I have exactly $14.59 in the trade. Let's wait together for the expiration to finish. As you understand, I saw the situation before the indicator signaled it. And this is another secret that I learned from one of my subscribers. If you see that the candles have been rising or falling for a long time, but a new candle suddenly starts moving quickly in the opposite direction, then there is a very high probability that the indicator will give a signal and make a jump. When a new candle opens, you will see a jump on the indicator and be able to enter the trade. With this secret, you can avoid wasting time and won't miss out on high-quality signals. This is a really cool indicator. And my trade closes in profit, friends. My balance is already $26.12. Let's scroll through some other currency pairs to find a suitable entry point. Let's go ahead and stick with the pound-dollar pair. I'm immediately entering an upward trade with my entire balance. And let's talk right away about what's happening here and why I entered an upward trade. As you can see, there was no signal on the basement indicator, but for some reason I decided to enter an upward trade. As you can see, in this range, the price has been moving downward for quite a while. This is visible both on the chart and on the indicator below. And we can assume that the price will go up. That's why we entered the trade right at the opening of the new candle and wait for the price to rise. Everything looks pretty good. I hope you understood how to catch signals using this strategy. This is truly a very cool and logical method. And now, to make a profit even more often, you just need to gain some experience. Trade more, practice, and keep an eye on the indicator. Try to catch the best moment and the best entry point. This is very important. Just trade more, my friends. Let's wait for the result of our trade to finish. And the third trade, friends, closes with a nice clean profit, and my balance is already $46.49. Our next entry is for the pound-Australian dollar pair. Here you can clearly see that the price was moving upward for a long time within this price range. This is visible both on the chart and again on the lower indicator. And you can also notice this sharp jump on the indicator, which was a clear signal of a trend reversal and an entry point into the market. And according to the instructions, I opened a trade. So let's wait for the expiration to finish and see the result. The trade closes and I make a profit of $39.52. My balance is now $86.01. My next entry will be on the AUD-USD pair. There are only a few seconds left before the candle closes, and I invest $86.01 in the trade. Just like in the previous entries, we can see that over a specific period of time. Let me point out that right here, the potential for price movement is upward. This is clearly visible on the chart. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that recently we can immediately see on the chart that there are 6 consecutive candles moving upward. This is also visible on the lower indicator, and we can assume that the price will move in the opposite direction. You probably noticed that I entered the trade without waiting for a signal from the indicator. I turn to a clever trick from technical analysis. Let's once again highlight the area and mark one of the most important indicators on it, the resistance zone. And we can also see that the indicator has updated and given a signal. Recently, the price has bounced off the highlighted area twice, and I assumed that it would go down again. That's why, friends, it's very important to analyze the chart together with other indicators. The trade closes in profit. My balance is now $153.96. Next, I enter a trade on the Euro-Pound pair. Following all the rules of the strategy, I once again wait for the candle to close and then make the trade. There's nothing new in this example. Again, the price moves upward for a relatively long time. You can see this both on the chart and in the lower indicator. There is a signal indicating a reversal. So let's wait together for the expiration to finish. The trade closes in profit and my balance is now $278.67. Friends, my next move will be on the GBP-JPY currency pair. As usual, I'm investing my entire balance into the trade. Again, we can see that during this period the price is moving upward. The indicator has already given a reversal signal, but the price decided to set a new high. We also have a candlestick pattern in the form of a pin bar. The previous candle closed with a large shadow, and taking all these factors into account, I expect the price to go down. I get another win, and my balance is now $496. I'm entering a trade on the EU or AUD pair, marking the area. And I think you already have an idea of what's happening here. The movement potential is downward, the indicator has given a signal, and I expect the price to rise. I get a profit of $372 added to my account. My balance is already $868. Alright, I think this will be the final trade. I found a pretty good setup. I'm waiting for the candle to close and then I'm entering the trade with my entire balance. Let me quickly explain the logic behind this entry. The short-term trend is upward. The basement indicator gave a questionable signal, but I think the price will go down to this support zone. Let's wait together for the result of the final trade. Friends, the trade closed in profit. My balance is $1,605. I'm in shock. Starting with just $10, I managed to grow my account to this amount in just 1 hour of trading.
And finally, we have the third trader with a result of about $4,000. Let's watch his trading session.
The EMACD indicator. We will use the MACD indicator with slightly modified settings so that we have a higher success rate. Yes, we'll have fewer trades, but they will all be safer. We have a crossover on the MACD line and we can observe these together right now. Here we have a crossover. The green line crosses the red one and our histogram shows that we've moved above the 0 value. This is an excellent entry point for an upward trade for 1 minute. And yes, next I'll share with you the timing settings, when and for how long to trade. I specifically adjusted the MACD indicator, or rather its value, for this expiration time, which matches the candle time. The first excellent trade brings me $1,380. Not a bad result. I'll open the next trade for $1,500 as well. Now let's take a look at a position for a downward trade and see how it appears on the chart. Right now we can see the MACD crossover this and this. Oh, the green line is crossing below the red line and our histogram is moving past the 0 mark. So, if our histogram is below 0, we open a position for a downward trade. If it is above 0, then we open a short position. But we only open an upward position if the green line crosses the red line from below. That will be an excellent entry point for an upward trade. And if the green line crosses the red line from above downward, then that's a good entry point for a downward trade. Basically, just like my current situation, we enter a downward trade for 1 minute, and as you can see, I'm already confidently taking almost 20 points from this trade. Another profit, another $1,400 added to my balance. And now let's talk about the time frame and the settings of this indicator. To add this indicator to your chart, you need to go to the Indicators tab and click on MACD. That's it. The indicator will be automatically added to your chart. Next, you need to set the candle time frame. We will use standard Japanese candles, ES15. That means each candle will close within 15 seconds. And we will use a 1 minute expiration time. I set up the MACD indicator specifically for this candle time frame and expiration period. The green line crosses the red one from below upwards. We can clearly observe this on the MACD indicator. Also, our histogram is currently above the 0 level. This means that two factors have aligned, making this the perfect entry point for an upward trade. And yes, I'll answer a common question right away. In fact, it doesn't matter whether the MACD lines cross in the upper range or in the lower range. The most important thing is that all the factors align. If it's a trade for a downward movement, then the histogram is above 0, and the green line crosses the red line from below upwards. Then that's the perfect entry point for an upward trade. And as soon as I said it was the perfect entry point, the trade literally closed at 0 in an instant. Well, that happens, so there's no need to get upset about it. 0 is better than a loss. I kept my $1,500. Don't get upset, just keep moving forward. And yes, if you see a situation like this, where we had a perfect crossover, a truly ideal entry point, but you missed it, you literally have just one candle to jump into the trade, either up or down. If more than one candle has passed, then we simply skip that situation in the market. British pound, Canadian dollar. Basically, I still have time to catch the last train. Here we have a crossover of the green line. The green line crosses our red line from below upwards. And for me, it's enough that the price, or rather the histogram, has just barely moved a few points, above 0. Accordingly, I confidently open my trade for an upward movement. And as we can see, given the current market conditions, there are very few situations we can enter right now. So, the next trade I'll be opening will be on the OTC market. Let's take a look at the settings there and in general at the situations we can work with. Again, I mentioned at the beginning of the video that this would be a fairly safe strategy, but since it's a safe strategy, it's going to take quite a long time. In other words, we'll have to go through all the currency pairs to find a quality entry point. If this option doesn't suit you, I've created a huge playlist where I share different strategies. There are strategies for 30-second trades and even strategies for 5-second trades. If you want to learn more strategies, then check out the description. There you'll find a playlist with strategies. Meanwhile, this trade is bringing me $1,300. My balance is already at $16,700. As you can see, I'm already close to my goal. I've earned about $4,000 and I've been opening trades at roughly 10% of my deposit.
Friends, if you like the format of this video, and want to see more similar videos about the best trading strategies, let us know in the comments. That way, we'll know you enjoy this format and we'll keep finding the very best trading strategies for you. We are an affiliated partner of Pocket Option, and by registering on the platform through our link, you get all our full care and support.